What is up, Tampa Bay? Happy to be with y'all this evening on another Tampa Bay Q&A. And my trusty co-host will be here with us shortly. But if we've never met before, my name is Juan Alcalá. We make videos that are all things Tampa Bay, what it's like to live here, what it's like to work here, what it's like to play here, the food, the dining, the outdoors, the beaches, and the sunshine. This is our Tampa Talk Tuesday, our Tampa Q&A, if you will, and you are invited to the conversation. We're going to talk a lot about what's happening in and around the entire Tampa Bay area. We invite you into both ask questions and communicate with the community here, because if you look in the chat there, if you're watching on YouTube with us, maybe you're on Instagram, maybe you're Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're watching from, we have quite the community here that has grown over the last year and a half, and we're so excited to be with y'all. And if you're watching this later, feel free to join us live. We're on every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Unless something changes in terms of weather-wise or vacation, but we plan on being here, and we just really invite you to join us and make this a fun, interactive hour. We're going to talk about, what's happening with the Rays. We're going to talk about Brightline tonight. A lot of news on that front. We're going to talk about Margarita Wars. That's going to be pretty exciting. I know Kate's going to be excited about that too. And just a lot of up and coming things in and around town, and excited to be with y'all. Let's jump right into the chat and say hello to our viewers who's with us tonight. We got Kevin, of course, my man out in Lakeland. So happy to be with him. Carol's in the house. She was in Tampa last week, flying back to Southern California. Glad you guys had a safe trip and a fruitful trip, Carol. So that's the most important thing. Danielle, shout out to Ohio. She says, hello from Northeast Ohio, where it's as hot as Florida, but no beaches. There you go. Well, Lake Erie. Lake Erie's over there, so you're close. Love that. Thanks for sharing. We've got Nick's in the house. What's up, sir? Good evening to you as well. Jason, my man, watching from New Jersey. Shout out to New Jersey. Hopefully you're dry, sir. I know that you guys had some serious weather up there the last couple of days. We're getting some pretty serious rain here as well. Hasn't been so intense here at home. Plant City got like 11 inches of rain, which is wild for those guys. So definitely a lot of flooding going around the country. I know Texas, our prayers are with the families out there, and out in Killeen, Texas, and what's happening out there. But yeah, pretty interesting. John says, any rain spouts up north? Not that I'm aware of, but I know that I saw some video of them. Oh, sorry. Rainstorm is what he was asking about. No, I'm pretty good, but that's why Stacy's not with us right now, because she is experiencing some weather out there in Wesley Chapel, and for whatever reason, she has internet issues whenever that happens. So hopefully we'll get those corrected before too long in the evening here. But yeah, we're not too bad. John says they're still dry in Wyomama, and shout out to you guys. That's good. We had a little bit of rain earlier today, but nothing of any consequence, or nothing of note, I would say, on that end. But yeah, like you said, if you're just joining us, jump in the conversation. Let us know where you're watching from. If you have questions about the Tampa Bay area, or if you're considering making the move here, feel free to ask those in the chat as well. We get on both sides. We're going to talk lifestyle, we'll talk real estate towards the end. And you can jump ahead later if you're just joining us then, but love to have you in the conversation and engaged. So you're welcome to do that. Brian Cook, what is up, sir? He says, happy Tampa Talk Tuesday. I'm sorry, happy Tampa Talk Taco Tuesday from Lakewood Ranch. That is a mouthful, brother. Let me tell you, that's a mouthful. And speaking of which, we might as well get right into that, since it is a Taco Tuesday. Some pretty exciting news here in Tampa Bay. And listen, I've got some vices in this world. I'm not perfect. I don't walk on water, just in case anybody needed to know. I know that's no news bulletin to anyone, but I'll tell you what, I love a great margarita. And this weekend, some exciting news. We got Margarita Wars taking place here in Tampa Bay. And I know that there are some jacked up people about this, right? So if you're ready for Tampa Bay's biggest tequila throwdown, right? This Friday, July 18th, Creative Loafing is hosting their Margaritas War takeover at the James Museum in St. Pete. So this is a pretty cool venue too. Over 24 local spots from Jatoro's banana chocolate mashup to Fresco's waterfront bistro are battling for the crown of best margarita here in Tampa Bay, which is exciting. So tickets are starting at $75 for unlimited samples. I don't know that anybody needs that, but hey, $75 for unlimited samples. But here's what's cool. And you get gallery access. You get to travel around the museum, checking out art. And there are DD passes, designated driver, for anybody wondering what I'm talking about. Designated driver passes are $30. And if you buy 2 tickets, you get one of those for free. So I think that is fantastic, by the way. But, picture yourself wandering the art halls, if you will, sipping signature, margaritas and munching light Mexican inspired bites. That's a pretty good event, so if you swing by, it's happening at 150 Central Avenue from 6 to 10 p.m. Again, that's this Friday. It's going to be a great time. You should go check that out. And you can see down here, if you go to their website here, you can see who's going to be there, who the winner were from last year, from 2024. So you had the Tipsy Mono, that's the one that won second place, third place. You can see all that there. And then you can see who's going to plan on being there. So this is really cool. This is a lot of local bartenders here in St. Pete, and some local establishments. So this is one of those really cool events that I think is awesome, and especially on a Taco Tuesday. So why wouldn't we talk about Margarita Wars on a Tampa Taco Tuesday? Shout out to you, my man. Whew, that was a mouthful. Love getting that in there. But if you, as always, y'all, if you're watching this afterwards, I'll link these resources in the description down below. That way you can go check on them. But like $75, go hang out, unlimited margarita samples. And then they do have, if you buy 2 tickets, you get 1 DD pass for free. And I think that's fantastic. So have a great time. Be safe. Use a DD. All the things, right? But that's pretty cool. Big fan of that. All right. Jason says, I'm ready to make the move to Lakewood Ranch. Jason, you know where we're at, brother. You know we can help you make that happen. And you've got Mr. Cook in the chat over there saying he would come on down, brother. Come on down. And I love this, right? Like you guys, the community here is so good. Thank you for all being amazing. Appreciate each and every one of you. Speaking of news, let's continue on that line because some pretty cool stuff else happening around the area here. So let's jump into Brightline news. And for those who may not be aware of the Brightline, this is a high-speed rail that currently is going from all the way in Miami to Orlando. It's got a few other stops in between. If you go to their website, you can look at ticket packages and all this stuff. But there's some really cool news. This has been a on again, off again thing. It's kind of like the Rays Stadium here in Tampa. But it's been on again, off again for quite a while. But it looks like we're gaining some ground here on the Brightline coming to Orlando. So I'm sorry, from Orlando to Tampa. The Brightline is actively pursuing an extension to Tampa, and they're looking to raise about $400 million through a bond sale to do it. The plan involves extending the current Orlando to Miami route to connect with Tampa, potentially along the I-4 corridor, while the specific timeline, let me get my notes here, the specific timeline is not yet set. Brightline is engaging with Tampa officials and conducting a public survey to gather input on the station location and connectivity. They do want to talk to the public, which I think is awesome. Tampa Mayor Jane Castor has suggested that this is really a 4 to 5 year timeline for passenger service between Orlando to Tampa, and that's on the optimistic side. So, while I'm bringing you the news, it doesn't sound like this is going to happen, as of tomorrow or anytime soon, but they are working on this because, again, this has been on again, off again type of thing. And while the station location is not yet finalized, the mayor did say it would likely be located somewhere in Ybor City, probably near the Tico streetcar line. So just kind of keep that in your back pocket. And the new route could reduce travel time between Orlando to Tampa by up to an hour each way. And for people who have to commute to work, that's a huge win. Number one, for anybody who's just looking to go, maybe you're going to Disney and, you don't want to drive. And what a great way to do that is, go to Ybor, have a great sandwich, walk by the cigar shops, whatever it is, and then jump on the Brightline and then head over to Disney. I mean, that makes life less complicated. I would rather put my family on the Brightline, take the high-speed rail over to Orlando and do it that way than drive, because I can't stand driving I-4. I don't know about you guys. But the expansion is expected to alleviate some traffic congestion as well. How much, only time will tell, and we're not quite there yet. But I think this is great news and worth discussing. So I wanted to bring that news to you guys as well, because it's on the radar, right? This is one of the talking points that everybody loves to know about in terms of what's happening out there in Tampa Bay and the Brightline. I think that would be a huge win for the area. So excited to talk about it. All right, cool. What else we got going on here? We got Tats and Tech. What's up, Patrick? Good evening, sir. He says hello. Joined late today. Good to be here. Well, we are happy to have you, sir. We are happy to have you. Yeah, some cool news in and around town, but that's not the biggest news. I mean, there's definitely, this. I feel like anytime I talk about this, I just want to bury my head, because I feel like the story is going to change. But the sale of the Rays is expected to be final by September-ish. Okay, now. The Rays are reportedly, I'm going to use quotations here, in the process of being sold to a new ownership group led by Jacksonville-based developer Patrick Zalupski. All right, he's the founder and owner of Dream Homes. He's a developer. Current principal owner Stuart Sternberg has reached an agreement in principle. There's letters of intent out from both sides, allegedly, in principle, to sell the team for an estimated $1.7 billion. That number is going to be in flux. The deal is expected to be finalized as soon as this September, pending approval by 75% of the other MLB team owners. The potential sale follows a period of uncertainty for the Rays, as you guys are aware of if you've been following that journey. It lost its lid last year during Hurricane Milton, and who have been searching for a new stadium for years. We've been trying to get a stadium deal done down in St. Pete forever. And again, we've made announcements on this show for the last 2 years, and it still has not happened, right? Of new plans, and it just hasn't come to fruition. So the locals, I mean, the residents here really want Sternberg to sell the team. There's been a lot of pressure on him because for all intents and purposes, he's said a lot of things, but hasn't gotten a lot of things done. And I'm not here to bag on anybody. I'm just sharing with you, the overall sentiment. The team recently backed out of a $1.3 billion stadium deal with the city of St. Pete, which they're not happy about. And after the plan was derailed, by delays, cost increases, and damages to Tropicana Field, from Hurricane Milton. The Rays currently planning their 2020. They're playing their 2025 home games at Steinbrenner Field, which is a great venue if you've never been. That's an awesome experience, but way too small for an MLB team for sure. And they're making repairs to Tropicana Field, trying to get back on the field by opening day of 2026. So the new ownership group, led by Zalupski, is expected to keep the team in the Tampa Bay area. Now, this is their preference. But the preference would be to have a stadium in Tampa. So this group, if they get this deal, it looks like they're going to want to move it over to Tampa. And there's been a lot of speculation about where. Ybor has come up a bunch of times. If the Brightline ends up over there, you've got a real win-win. We'll see how that looks like. But their preference is to move the Rays to Tampa proper. Tampa Mayor Jane Castor has expressed optimism, of course, about the team staying in Tampa and potentially playing a new stadium there in the future. The MLB commissioner, Rob Manfred, has also stated his desire for the team to remain in Tampa Bay area. The sale is not finalized, but if finalized, could make a new chapter for the Rays franchise as it seeks to secure long-term home and solidify its future here in the Tampa Bay market. And like I said, y'all, I'm very hesitant to talk about the Rays just because it just always seems like whatever we say now is going to change. But this is big news. It's important. And I definitely wanted to share it with y'all when it comes to our sports teams, because we've got some incredible sports teams here. I mean, the Bucs rolled out their throwback jerseys. This is their 50th anniversary. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, let me see if I can find the image of their jerseys. They rolled out this great video today with the old ball coach on it and everything. And man, it was so cool. But they're going to go all the way back to their original journey uniforms that they wore. So I'm super excited to see this. Where are we? There we go. I knew I'd find it for you eventually. All right, y'all. So let me pull this up. This is the their Instagram channel, and I'm a huge like. So let me just say this first and foremost. I'm a recovering Lions fan, as y'all know or may not know. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Grew up there my entire life. Moved here 7 years ago, almost 7 years ago, and still I'm a recovering Lions fan. Now I do love the Lions. However, I really appreciate the Buccaneers. I love the NFL more than anything else. I'm a huge football fan. And I'm a big fan of this, but oh my goodness, man, these throwbacks are so good. These are so good. I almost ordered one today. I probably will. I don't own a football jersey, FYI, with anybody's name on it, but I might put my name on the back of one. But man, these jerseys they just look so good, and people are fired up about it. Here's the video. I'll put this in the resources later. You can see it too. But Steve Spurrier's on here. You've got all the coaches from the past players on this video. It was just a great kickoff, and it put a smile on my face. And if you're a sports fan in general, if you like the NFL, I think you'll really get a kick out of this video too. So definitely worth checking out. And man, what an exciting time. Congratulations to the Buccaneers, 50 years. And they have more championships than the Lions. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys. That's just the reality of where that is. So I can't phase him for that, right? Okay, cool. Let me get back to the chat here while I was reading away. Craig D says Brightline is fantastic. It can't come to Tampa fast enough. I have not wrote it yet. I want to do that, and I may take the time. We're heading over to my father-in-law's this week. We may be able to sneak on the Brightline over there and give it a whirl, because I really want to check that out. It looks fantastic, but I really want to see that. Craig also says there's no better uniform than the cream. Dude, you are not wrong. And that the original there, the throwback there is just, it's absolute fire. I'll love that. I really would just want to grab it and put it on the wall because I think it's fantastic. This shot here of these guys mean mugging is great. Look at the old pennants and stuff too, man. This is really cool. I'm a big fan, man. I'm a big fan. Randall, what's up, my brother? He says, hello from Apollo Beach. I'm sorry my Commanders beat your Lions, but we love you. Hey, man, that's not the first time that's happened, by the way. I also remember watching that game in the NFC Championship where they basically ended Barry Sanders' career at that point. So I feel you, man. I get it. And they did a good job. Listen, the Lions weren't going to beat anybody with all B-leaguers on the defensive side of the ball. We all know defense wins championships, and who in the NFL scored 50 points every single week to win a championship? Nobody, right? So greatest show on turf couldn't even get it done. So completely understand, man. You guys got a good squad over there. You guys got a good squad. So shout out to the Commanders. And you guys are going throwback on the jerseys this year too. Sorry, y'all. I know this is not sports talk, but I am a sports nerd. Again, I love the NFL. Huge fan of that. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Randall. Appreciate you, brother. All right, Danielle says, Brightline would probably really cut down on traffic. It's to be seen, but I would assume that it would help. It's a reasonable cost. It's not cheap, but I looked up passes when I was on there, and it's a few $100. I think like $250 gets you like 40 rides. Now, that's a lot. It's not a lot of money. To me, an Uber ride, if I go from the beach to the airport, it's $60 plus tip. So to me, that's only 4 trips to pay for 40 rides. Dude, that's a good deal in my mind. So I'm with you, Danielle. If nothing else, I think it'll make the experience of going to Orlando. When my friends come into town and they're like, "Hey, we're in Orlando," I was like, "Hey, God bless you. Let me know how it goes over there." I would love to go have dinner with them, but I'm not going to drive through 2 hours of white knuckle traffic to make it happen. And, we live by the coast, so it's really 2.5. Most of the time, it takes me 2.5 to 3 hours to get to Orlando proper. And I've left there at 8:00 at night just to go to bumper to bumper. I'm not interested in it at all. So I'm with you. I think it's a huge win if and when we can make it happen. And I think a lot of people will use it. As the word continues to get out about the Brightline and how beneficial it is, I think more and more people are going to jump on that train, pun intended. So yeah, absolutely. think that's great. All right, what did we leave off? We talked about Margarita Wars, which is an absolute win. We talked about the sale of the Rays, allegedly, again. We talked about the Brightline, multiple discussions on that. Oh, here's something really cool that I wanted to share with y'all because I really thought this was pretty neat. And if you've never been to this location, you got to go check it out. Next time you guys come to Tampa, or if you're local here, and you might already know about this. If you've been here, if you've been to the place that I'm about to talk about, please let everybody know how cool of a venue this is. All right, because it's one of my favorite spots in all of Tampa to go hang, have a cup of coffee, go eat. And they actually have like co-working space there too. So I'm going to share this with you guys 1 second here. I'm just pulling up the maps too. Because I realized that I didn't have that, which is just crazy talk. We got to have one of those for sure. All right. Now, what is Juan bumping his gums about? Let me get into this. The Oxford Exchange, y'all. And if you have not been to the Oxford Exchange, you are missing out. Okay. Now, here's something really cool. The Oxford Exchange is about to have a free children's book fair return back downtown, which is really cool. So I want to get into the story because I think it actually is a feel-good story and it's very cool. So if you're a Tampa parent looking to spark some summer reading magic, if you will, or if you're going to be in town during this time, this Sunday from July 20th from 11 to 4 at the Oxford Exchange. Now, this is located on 420 West Kennedy, and I'll pull up the map here in a second. And it's going to transform into the 11th annual Children's Book Fair. Okay, there's going to be over 30 local offers from Derek Roberts and K.A. Leah, Sania Lawson, a whole bunch of other local authors will be on hand to share stories, sign books, and fuel imaginations, which I think is great. There'll be live storytelling, a scavenger hunt, hands-on activities, and there's something for every age, which I think is great. Plus, you can bring gently used pre-K to 12 books to support the Hillsborough Education Foundation and Teaching Tool Store, which I think is fantastic. And if you've never been to the Oxford Exchange, this is one heck of a venue. You've got to go. Okay. It's located right off of West Kennedy. It's right literally just south of University of Tampa campus and the Plant Museum there. It's a beautiful location. Just north of South Tampa and High Park Village. So, you can kind of make an event of it. But I love this venue is unbelievable. You walk in the door when you walk in, the bookstore is there first. So that's the first thing you see. And then as you walk down this hallway, then you run into the coffee shop. From the coffee shop, you now go into this beautiful hall here, which you guys can see in front of you. Now, it's this whole vintage vibe. On one side, you can see like the common table. On the other side over there, there's more seating. There's like leather chairs. They're gorgeous. And then there's an outside seating area from there as well. And if you go up these stairs, like I'm showing you here, there's co-working space up here. And it's awesome. This is where we did our team recap last year. Great place to go check out. And then there's restaurants inside of here as well. You can see as you walk through that hallway there, you come into this really gorgeous store, and then that takes you into the restaurant. I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head, which is going to drive me crazy, but their breakfast is unbelievable. You've got to go in there and check it out, y'all. And this is just one of those really cool old venues. It just gives you all the feels like you guys can see here. Great place to just crack open a book, have a cup of coffee, kick back and read. There's the cafe right there. Check out this latte. Oh, so good. Oh, and then here's the outdoor seating space as well. You got a fountain in the middle. It's under atrium, and just a really good spot to go hang out, chill, and enjoy either a good cup of coffee, maybe some mimosa, some breakfast, crack open a book. But, for this event here specifically, I think this is wonderful. Again, anytime you can get around doing something for the kids, I think it's beneficial. And trust me, if you go into the Oxford Exchange, you're going to have a good time and you're going to talk about your experience there. They've just done such a good job at curating the overall experience of that venue between the bookstore, the restaurant, coffee shop, and the seating area. You just can't miss out. It's definitely worth checking out. So take your time to go down there and hang it out. All right, cool. What else we got going on here? Let me pull this off. Corey, what's up, my man? He says, hey, y'all. Corey tuning in from C-Bus. Been MIA for a while. Work and traveled to St. Pete. Juan, Engine 9. Dear Lord, that bacon and blue burger. Yes, sir. My man, absolutely, dude. That is, for those of you who aren't aware, let me pull that up too. Engine 9, actually, I think it's Phil Esposito's nephew. I don't want to get the story wrong. Phil Esposito, the hockey player, I think it's his nephew or someone related to him who started this restaurant. When you walk in, it's got the Chicago flag up and all this other stuff. And the more important thing is, they make hamburgers that will make you cry. Like literally from tears of joy will flow from your body because they are that good. I mean, and they got a great beer menu too. So if that's your thing, definitely worth checking out. But the burgers, man, like y'all, when people say you need a wheelbarrow to get it on of a place, they're not kidding when they're talking about Engine 9. All right. They're all enormous. And what they do is they make a hamburger and whatever else is on the menu. So let me see if we can pull up the menu. Whatever's on the menu, the bacon burger. All right. So let me get to what you say? The black and blue. That's the one you were talking about, right? Yep. Here it is. So Corey was talking about the black and blue burger. So this thing's got Frank Red's hot sauce on it, applewood smoked bacon, sliced blue cheese, and blue cheese crumbles on top of this burger. The Don Carlo, you got the goat head, Allison Payne. I love the names of these. I usually get the one bad pig, which is garlic pork, okay, white cheddar, mustard, braised onions, and fried pancetta and chipotle mayo on top of a hamburger. All right, so like this thing, it's like, I'm telling you, it will put you down. The Buccaneers, amazing. Sliced brisket, fried cheese curds, jalapeno bacon, and jerk glaze on top of a burger, man. Like, and y'all, I love this restaurant, but I'm telling you right now, as much as I love the burgers, that's not my favorite thing on the menu. My favorite thing on their menu, and I think the best thing that they make actually, is their wings. My goodness, where are they? Their sriracha crusted hot wings, y'all, is such an experience. So if you are brave, go in there and they're not super spicy. I know anytime somebody hears sriracha is like, oh my goodness. No, they're not crazy spicy. They are so balanced. They're so good, but their wings are so crispy. But if you are brave or bold enough to make this happen, two things I encourage. Number one, you take a designated driver, not because you're going to be drinking wildly, but because you're not going to be able to move physically after you try to consume all of this food. But get the sriracha wings. You have to get them. We usually get at least one to go because Kate and I absolutely love them. And then any of the burgers, whatever you're a fan of, get a burger. It'll change your life. Because I'm telling you right now, y'all, this place is unbelievable when it comes to food. And I should probably pull up some photos here. I mean, look at that thing. It's just so juicy. And I know we're talking about a lot of food tonight, but this is what I do. I'm self-proclaimed recovering kid who just can't help but eat everything. So shout out to that. All right, let me pull that down because otherwise I'll just keep waxing poetic. But Corey, thank you for sharing that, brother. I'm glad that your experience there was incredible because ours always has been as well. Awesome. Mr. Campbell, good evening, sir. He says, Mullet's Fish Camp in St. Petersburg. Fantastic fish. And not even a wing fan, but best chicken wings I've ever eaten. All right. That is just like brisket, when we travel, I always get brisket in everybody's city because everybody's like, our brisket's the best. And I've had a lot of brisket, and there's some great stuff here in town. If you guys haven't been to the brisket shop, I'm a huge fan. Go see Danny. Incredible brisket. But I'm also a fan of chicken wings. So Mr. Campbell, I am going to take you up on that. I will report it back to this community because you guys deserve that. And I am down, sir. I will absolutely go try that. And here we go. Here we go again. Wendy in Ohio. She says OH, and then we got Danielle calling her out there. Love that. Y'all are killing me. You know, I'm a U of M fan, right? And I gotta. Y'all, can anybody remind me the last time Ohio State Buckeyes beat the Michigan Wolverines in football? Can anybody remind me of that? If you know the date on that, how many days it's been? Why don't you guys let me know in the chat? I'm pretty sure it's been over like 2,000 days. It's been a long time. But anyways, I'm just kidding. I love y'all. All right. So thanks for sharing that. Love digging in on, of course, we love digging in on the food. And Corey, also, I'm glad you narrowed down the spot, man. Looking forward to hearing what you got going on. D Ford says under contract and coming soon. My man, congratulations. I love it, you guys. It's always good news to hear that. I know I get a few notifications today that the ladies have locked in more contracts for our clients. So excited for that too. And if you guys are joining us later and you're like, what is this this buffoon on here talking about? Welcome to our conversation. We're Tampa Talk Live. We talk all things Tampa Bay, what it's like to live here, what it's like to work here, what it's like to play here. And it's a fun environment. We connect with the community. There are a lot of our clients. We help people relocate from all over the country to here to Tampa Bay, just like I did with my family almost 7 years ago, just like my co-host Stacy did a decade ago. And our team has helped over 150 families do that in the last 3 years because of YouTube and because of this platform. So if you're wondering what they're talking about or why they're talking about moving or relocating, that's why. We're blessed to serve a lot of these families that may or may not be you, and that's okay. We welcome you to the conversation. So you got a lot of people in here who are coming to the area, so they want to know what's going on. You got people who have been here in the area, and you also have people who are newer to the area as well. So we just try to keep everybody in the know, man, what's happening here in Tampa Bay. And what's going on in the area. So if you got questions about that, if you got questions about moving to the area, we're happy to do that. Last Wednesday, we did our very first small Zoom room where we met with people who are considering moving down. And then from that, we've met with 3 of the people who came to that meeting. So that was great. And of course, if you guys want that one-on-one with us, our contact information is down below. You can get that. And also I'll put it on the screen. I am so bad at doing that. You guys can just reach out to us directly. That phone number will take you to my cell phone. This one right here. If you guys need me, you got me. All right. So what we got? I know people are talking smack as always, but let me see here. Corey, there we go. National champs won. Oh, I know, but last time I checked, you got to beat the best to be the best. So I'm gonna hang on to that. And we do have another season coming up, my friend. We do have another season coming up. So shout out to you guys. Hey, at the end of the day, you took home the hardware. Congratulations on that. And listen, there are way too many Ohioans in here. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? I will be traveling back up to Michigan to see family the beginning of August. So I'll be traveling through Ohio. I'll let everyone in here know how painful that drive was. All right. It's 212 miles from the Ohio-Kentucky border to the Welcome to Michigan sign, just so everybody knows. I've done it too many times in my life. I know exactly where it is. And Ohio has also been in construction since 1976. So for anyone wondering, that's the reality over there. Love it. All right. Drone show on the pier on 7/27. We'll be in Michigan, but love to be there. Yeah, that drone show is incredible, Brian. Thanks for bringing that up. If you guys have not been to the St. Pete drone show, it's lights out. I think this will be the 4th year, at least the 3rd. But that drone show is phenomenal. Let me see if I can find the details on that. We usually talk about it closer towards that time, but that drone show was really cool. And Brian, if you get a chance, man, makes it even better, take a kayak out on the bay. You want to talk about a fun time because it gets dark and you can really check it out. It's a really good time. Drone show, St. Pete, 27th. Fireworks. Just trying to dig up the details on that. So bear with me. I'll talk amongst yourselves, of course. Amongst yourselves. All right. So it is Sunday the 27th from 4 to 10 p.m. The drone show by itself will start around 9 p.m. And it's part of the 5th year anniversary celebration of the pier. Okay, so the event will feature over 1,000 drones creating aerial animations and tell the story of St. Petersburg, including iconic landmarks like the $1 Million Pier and the inverted pyramid. So that's exciting. It'll be a good time. Definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth checking out. All right. What do you say? You can always go through the yes, you can. Well, we usually, just for reference, I've shared this with people before, but we love to travel. I drive on purpose. We can fly, but I like to go. We typically will spend either 3 to 5 days in Asheville or somewhere in the mountains, either on the way up or way down. So that's typically our and it makes it fun, man. And we'll stop in Kentucky and go to the waterfalls, and we do a lot of different things. And it allows the kids to experience different things. But we'll go to Charleston or Savannah, and like we'll always mix it up on the way up. But inevitably, we go through Ohio. Now, we have not taken that eastern jaunt going up 95 into like DC or Maine and Pittsburgh back across or anything like that. But I am going to put that on the radar at some point. So looking forward to that trip. And it's been a while. I haven't been up since the holidays, and we're overdue to go see some family and friends. So we're looking forward to that for sure. Wendy says only one season in the North, construction season. Amen to that. I don't miss that at all. I do not miss that at all, Wendy. That is the biggest thing, man, that I do not miss for sure. All right, what else? Brian says we'll be in Michigan first week of August too. Sweet, my man. Sweet. Love it. It's a good time to go, right? It's a good time to get out of here. And hopefully we've averted all storms up until that point. I know that there's an invest in the coming across the state right now. It's going to spin up here, hit the Gulf on the northern side of the Panhandle. It looks like Louisiana's going to get pretty wet. From what I'm hearing from Dennis Phillips, it doesn't sound like there's anything to be concerned about in terms of hurricane activity, but it is going to be pretty rainy and a pretty rainy stretch in general. So keep your eye on that. Corey says, sorry, Juan. Wendy is now my new best friend. I would also recommend Hookin' Ain't Easy in St. Pete. Good dive bar vibe with a great pompano sandwich. Nice. Look at you, dude. Like, hey, you better knock it off. You're going to start to sound like a Floridian here in a second, brother. Oh, man, it's talking pompanos and like the whole thing. Pompano's a great fish, y'all, if you don't know. Definitely worth checking out. So shout out to you, brother. Appreciate that. Cool. All right. Love the conversation here. If you have questions about, the area here, if again, if you want specifics on locations, I was going through this today, y'all. Actually, I just want to say thank you first and foremost. I was going through my calendar, and this is wild. I'll show you guys right now. This is crazy talk. I just can't believe how blessed we've been from all of you incredible human beings who trust the team here. But I want to share this with you guys. Because so many of you are like always here and just incredibly, again, I can't thank you enough. All right, so let me pull this up. This is my calendar. So I'm going to show y'all the whole year here, because I think this is mind blowing when you see it in terms of how many people we've spoke to this year. Okay, so this number is, there's a couple meetings in here that don't belong here. I know that we've met with 216 potential relocations to Tampa this year. That's what y'all are looking at here. So when you look at these completed events, okay, roughly 300 people have reached out to us. 66 of them have canceled. Shame on you guys. I'm kidding. Things happen, right? 14 rescheduled. But the big number here is we've met with 216. I know this says 244, but when I back out the stuff that doesn't belong there, just you guys who have considered moving to the area through YouTube specifically, we've spoke to 216 families. That is wild. Out of those 216 families, almost 100 of you, 98 to be exact, have decided to hire us as your relocation team when that time comes. Now, some of you are under contract. As a matter of fact, 22 of you are under contract to buy your home here in Tampa Bay. So first and foremost, thank you for trusting us. That doesn't include the 45 that have already bought so far this year, who've already made the move. So that's wild to me. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for trusting us, and most importantly for becoming, some of you are becoming, what I would consider friends, right? And those relationships will continue to spin up. That's not a requirement if you hire us, by the way. But I know a lot of you have made connections with Madison and Stacy and Ashley and our team in general. And I just want to say thanks from the bottom of my heart. And we talk about it a lot, but I don't think it's shared enough. That level of trust doesn't, man, I couldn't pray for something better. So I just want to say thanks, guys. We appreciate you. And, being part of a community. And really, this was a thing that I needed to go through. I didn't recognize it at the time, but going out and just documenting learning everything about Tampa Bay turned into this whole experience of helping others go through it. And one of my favorite quotes is by a gentleman. His name is Rory Vaden, and he says, "You're most uniquely designed to serve the person you once were." And this really has given me the opportunity and the outlet to do that. And it's been 7 years. I don't know what it's like to live really back home in Detroit. I'll never forget, but like I don't miss that stuff. I miss the people, but I don't miss the construction, the freezing, the headache, the great. I don't miss any of that, even with all the challenges. And we've really found a community of people who we love, and we're so grateful that this town in this area has accepted us. And the reason that happens is because there's so many people here who have relocated from other areas. So, if you got concerns about that, I understand. We've went through it too. And if you followed our journey, you guys know, like, we got flooded last year, during Hurricane Milton. And it wasn't because of storm surge, it was because of rain. And, we went through a whole journey through that, shared that with you guys publicly, and we're still here. And we're happy, man. I couldn't be more proud to be part of Tampa, and it's in my DNA at this point, and we're grateful for it. So thank you for trusting us as well, y'all. Okay, thank you for trusting us. We appreciate it. And I just wanted to share this with you guys because I know sometimes it's like, what does that mean when you're helping people? But to have 216 of you guys reach out and like literally go into my calendar and say, "Hey, we want to meet with you guys." Like, what mind blow. You know what I mean? I know it's a small explosion, but wow. All right. So, and a huge part of that community is here, right? There are people in this space who've already bought homes, who've already relocated down here, but they're still hanging out with you guys. So if you're watching this later, come join us live. Be part of the conversation. We're happy to have you. Corey said, "Yep, got that one." Okay, cool. What are we looking at here? Hooking ain't easy. Got that. Carol says, "Under contract, thanks to Stacy." Yes, Stacy is amazing. And I know she wanted to be here. I've gotten several texts from her apologizing. You don't have to apologize, sis. We're good. We got you covered tonight. And I know everybody comes here for Stacy anyways, right? Like, but we're mixing it up. We had Madison on a couple weeks ago. I'm going to start bringing her in. She's on a mission trip for the next 2 weeks. If y'all, have it in your heart, pray for that young lady. She's out there dedicating her lives to changing others and or helping others is what I should say. And we couldn't be more proud of her. And man, I'm so happy for her. She's having an amazing year in real estate. She's had amazing clients, and now she gets to go serve. And I couldn't be prouder of her. So proud of you, sis. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. All right. Corey says, maybe you've talked about it the past couple of weeks, but can you touch on DeSantis House Bill 913, how that will affect condo sales? Are you seeing an increase and decrease in condo listings? Well, in general, no, it's still really early. I know that was just signed July 1st, I believe. But, it's too early yet. Transparency, we did talk about that, Corey. We talked about that House bill, the transparency that's required now with HOAs, the bidding process that they have to do. They have to keep the financials public to and easily accessible to homeowners now. There's a lot more voting. I do think it's going to be beneficial. Do I think it's going to happen overnight? No. We are starting to see a little bit more stability there in general, and listings as a whole in Tampa are starting to come down, which is good news because we were one of those areas that were most affected by the turnaround, but we're starting to see that change here. So, we'll see how that all turns out, brother, but keep your eye on it. At the end of the day, man, if you can find something 2 stories or lower, that's what you want to do. Or you want to get something newer if you can. There's opportunity, but you really got to dig. All right. So we still have people buying condos. It's happening. Right. But you just got to keep your eye on it. All right. You got to keep your eye on it. Okay. Did it for the beach party in the fall. Did what in the beach party? What did I miss? What did I forget? Sorry, Brian. Must have missed something. Not bad, brother. All right. Nick says, do you think there are any small homes out there with really nice kitchens going for $350? Yeah, man. But not right on the water. Well, that's unfair to say too. I've seen some 2-2s, some 2-bedroom, 2 baths in the area with a 1-car garage around that price point that were updated. So, Clearwater had some for sure. But dude, you can go out to areas like in Parish, Parish for sure. The Lagoon, I think Lennar's got some stuff out there for 350, brand new. So there's definitely some opportunity out there, Nick. Still undecided on which coast you're gonna live on, huh? My man's back and forth. He's uncertain for sure, but I'm gonna be on the East Coast this week. I'm actually going, like I said, going to Jensen Beach, going to see family. We'll hop over to Stewart and do the thing over there. We'll go to Jupiter Donuts, one of my favorite spots. If you guys ever make it over the Atlantic coast, that's a great place to go pick up a donut. You will not be disappointed. Definitely worth the trip there. Yeah, good question, man. Good question. Cool. Okay. So, love getting into the conversation with you guys regarding, local activities, what's going on there. Again, communities, and like I was discussing, how many people have reached out to us. And if you guys want to do that, you are free to. I welcome that conversation. If you have questions about moving the area, do not hesitate to take me up on that. Literally go to our website or the link in the description down below, and I'll put another one in the chat, and you can schedule a time and get your questions answered. Okay, that is not a full court press consultation. It is literally there to answer your questions. We have people that never moved to the area. Like I shared, I met with 216, only 100 of them made the commitment to move. Okay, for whatever reason, and that's okay. It's not for everybody. But the big thing I wanted to share with you guys is like, it's shocking to me how many people, like out of those 100 people, there's essentially 5 areas they're moving to. And this is the thing I wanted to share. I'm going to make a full video on this for our Saturday releases, but there's essentially 5 areas they're moving to. They're moving to Wesley Chapel, Lando Lakes area. It's more or less Wesley Chapel on its own. They are moving to Riverview, Brandon, that as a whole. They are moving to Parish or Bradenton as a whole, and then they're the Palm Harbor, Safety Harbor area, and then Seminole, Southwest Largo. That's where we see people moving to. And the least of all of that is at Riverview, Brandon. There's interest there, but out of all the people we've moved, that's the least amount. Most of our clients choose areas like Wesley Chapel, right? West Chase, Safety Harbor, Seminole, if they're beach babies, and then Parish, Lakewood Ranch kind of area. Okay, so just giving you guys that insight. So if those are on your radar, I'm just sharing with you. I'm not telling you that's where you should live, but that's where a majority of our clients are choosing to live. Most of those areas that I just discussed have really good school systems. Don't take my word for it. Go look at the rankings. Seminole is probably the least of those, but areas like Safety Harbor, Palm Harbor, West Chase, Wesley Chapel, Odessa, Orlando Lakes, Parish, Lakewood Ranch, all have excellent schools. Even out the Brandon Riverview, they actually have good school systems as well. The infrastructure is just a little bit older, and most of our clients don't want to drive across town, so that's why they end up not going to that area. Driving across Tampa during rush hour is, again, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. So that's usually people try to avoid that. And are like people who are beach babies, they end up living in Seminole or Southwest Largo. Some of them in Clearwater, of course. And then the people who just want like the laid back lifestyle, like a lot of them, but still want good schools, end up in Palm Harbor, Safety Harbor area. Dunedin's a great town too, but a lot of flooding in the area there. So not necessarily on everybody's radar, but I get asked this question all the time. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. I'm going to do a full breakdown of it, but like, it's one thing for us to guide you to these areas, but it's a whole nother thing to, meet with as many people as I've met with, and they choose those areas. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Now, for our beach babies that are like, I need to be by the water, that changes a lot of things. But if you're into new construction, or schools are your top priority, and you're not going to be homeschooling or putting your kids through private school, Pinellas County just gets a little bit tougher because our school system's like a box of chocolates here. It's wild. You can have incredible education at a high school level and terrible at, these are statistically ranked, by the way. If you look at grade schools, it'll show you. But like, you can have a 3 out of 10 elementary school and a 9 out of 10 high school, or vice versa. And it's just, that's really tough for a lot of people to swallow, a lot of parents for sure. I know not everybody has children, and that's not the most important thing, but I always try to remind people when it comes to real estate and areas you're going to live in, typically, not always, but usually, if it has good schools, it also is a safe community statistically, and the values hold up over time. So those are usually important metrics. It's not like you get one thing without the other two. They typically come together as a bundle, right? So, safety, good schools, and real estate values that hold up really well are kind of synonymous. Not always. When you get into more urban areas, that can be a little bit more of a challenge for sure. But those are areas that people just keep moving to, right? That's their choice. After they come into town and do a lot of community shopping, they're choosing to do that. And then you got the wild beach babies like Kate and I, were like, we love the water. We don't want to leave. So we're willing to not have the greatest schools, and we homeschool anyway. So for us, that wasn't a priority, right? We're in a very safe community. I've left my garage door open and doors, unlocked, unfortunately, not on purpose, but I've done it. We've never had a problem. Our neighbors are all lovely. They keep track of what's going on. And for the most part, just like every other area in Tampa Bay, people here just want to come, live an active lifestyle, take advantage of the sun and being outdoors and having access to this incredible coastline and live their best life. And if that's you, man, like, you're in good company, because that's our people, right? That's our people, man. So we're excited to have you guys. And, thanks for joining us live. I don't, like I said, we don't get to see who everyone is or where you're watching from. So if you're watching this later, please let me know. I love getting those comments later. I reply to those personally. My assistant's not doing that. There's no bot on the back end. I respond to all of your guys' comments as long as they're not profane in any way or obnoxious. Personally respond to those comments. You got access to me. And if you want to connect with me directly, number's right on the screen. If you are interested in making the jump to the area, please don't hesitate to reach out to the team, like many people in the comments that already have. Happy to be with you guys. And next week, I'll have Stacy back with me, hopefully, based upon her internet situation. But we'll get back to that. And when Madison gets back from her mission trip, I'm going to have her connect with you guys too. So happy to be with y'all. Make that connection. All right. We had another question here. It says, Wendy, we are thinking of renting to really feel out the area. How have you seen others do it? Is there a month by month? This is a great question too, Wendy. And it's funny. We were just talking to a couple yesterday, I believe, about this specific thing. And last year, I think we met with 15 or 20 people who were thinking that they were going to rent, and over half of them ended up making the purchase. Now, that's not for everybody. The other half didn't. But here's why: because you can get your community shopping done in a couple trips or a few trips. If you're really focused and you have a lot of time, you can really get that done in a time or two. And I know that sounds wild, but it's true. However, if you're a little bit more risk adverse, and that is a huge concern of yours, you can absolutely do a seasonal rental. That's an option for you. So on the coast here, we've got a lot of access to short-term rentals, so Airbnbs. And one of my favorite plays is to go right to the Airbnb owner directly. A lot of them have their own website. And if you reach out to them and you try to book a whole month and you're a few months out, they love that. Because most of those Airbnb owners are only 40 to 50% occupied. Okay. Now, it depends on the time of year, of course, right? But if you reach out to them, you're usually able to make a really good deal. And let me tell you right now, you can learn everything you need to know in a month. I'm talking, doesn't take that long, right? And that would be doing it on your own, period. Now, if you reach out to us, what we do is we compress that time for you. Most of our clients end up getting that done in 2 to 3 trips max, but it's different for everybody. So if you've got more questions, reach out to us first. We can help guide you in that direction. And if that rental makes sense, there are 3-month rentals in Florida. Month to month's a little bit more rare. Again, I would call the Airbnb owners directly, reach out to them directly and try to make that happen. There are definitely 6-month rentals as well, but you do not need a year. When people, most of our clients don't want to waste that money on rent. They know they're never going to get it back. If I was going to do anything, the longest would be 6 months, because you just don't need that long. Right? But if you really come in and get some homework done, You know, I know travel is not the most convenient thing. The biggest thing is usually people don't have time. When we see people rent, it's because they don't have the time to take two weekends or 2 full weeks for whatever reason. But if you have that flexibility, schedule two big trips and then figure out if you want to rent. That's the way to go about it. All right. Usually an easy way to do it. Brian says we are renting right now for a month while we wait for our closing. There you go. And then that's how people bridge the gap. They're getting a new construction property. So there's different ways to do it. You know, it just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But what I would say first and foremost, community shop. Take a vacation and come down and live like a local. And then recalibrate. And if you want more focus, reach out to us. We'll help you dial in based upon your lifestyle. That's the big thing people miss. The houses are not the difficult part. That's not a hard part. You can get 4 walls and a roof anywhere in this country. It's easy to do. Getting the community right is everything. That's everything. That matters so much for your well-being, your outlook, and how you feel about where you live. You know, I often tell people I could hand you $3 million, but if we put the house in the wrong place and everybody shakes their head, we would hate it, right? Because it's not the most important. It is important, but it's not the most important thing. Getting the community right. That is what you want to do. And we're here to help you guys if you want to go deeper on that. So don't hesitate to reach out to the team, whether you're moving in a week, a month, a year, that doesn't matter, y'all. We're here to help. Don't hesitate to reach out. We'll be back next week, the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll have my co-host back with us. We'll have more to talk about here Tampa Bay. We'll pull up some new communities. There are some really neat new communities coming to the area that I want to discuss here as well. And maybe we'll bust open House Bill 913 again for Corey. All right, y'all. You guys have a great night. And we say it every single time. Go out and live that Tampa life.